Now I'd like to bring in Congressman Devin Nunes from California. Welcome back, Congressman. Good to talk to you. You know, big tech is all over the news. We're talking about TikTok. We're talking about Microsoft. We're talking about China. How do you see this?
Well, I think you have to break it down in a couple different categories. The first being TikTok, which is owned by, it's a Chinese company. There's a lot of concerns over what the Chinese could be doing with our children's data. And I say children and young adults because those are most of the people that are using TikTok. They're able to track everything. And I think all Americans should be concerned about what happens to that data. Now, the same thing holds true, I will say, for the other tech companies, Google, Twitter, Facebook, et cetera, except those are American companies, so there would be no evidence that those are going to a foreign adversary. But we do have to be concerned that big tech is censoring people, censoring conservatives, and tracking our every move. And so I think going into this next election, Eric, we've talked about this several times on your show, people have to be very concerned whether or not they're getting the truth. So when people just say, hey, let's Google it, or let's look it up on Wikipedia, that's a really, really dangerous step for one to take, because you have to understand there are people behind that. This is not a free, open public square. It is a heavily regulated square, heavily censored square. All the people that are behind building those algorithms, the leadership of those companies are against Republicans and against conservatives, and they're not letting the truth get out. So that's how I juxtapose kind of the difference between TikTok and those problems, which that has to be reined in, and then the big tech problem that we have here in the United States.
Congressman, and I don't know this answer, I've been covering this for the better part of a decade. I know you can opt out of Facebook, Twitter, or you don't have to Google something, but that's almost unrealistic, almost impossible in today's day and age. And I also know they data mine just about every keystroke we make. Now, the question is, we know they're using that to market to other companies, so whomever, Facebook or any of them, even Snapchat. They'll see what you're looking up, they'll see what you're doing online, and then they'll go sell it to corporations that are in the business of selling their stuff to you, the consumer. I get that. Is there any legal firewall that these companies, these U.S. companies, social media companies, aren't selling that data to, say, the Chinese government or other adversaries?
Well, nothing stops them, and that's one of the problems, is that Facebook and others have actually been limiting what people that are in the political arena can do, when they can advertise, how they can advertise, et cetera, et cetera. But nothing stops them from selling that data to anyone else, including our foreign adversaries. Or, likely what wouldn't happen is the Chinese wouldn't call up and say, hey, Facebook, give us all your data. What the Chinese would do is they would have a front company that works within a U.S. company that would buy the data from Facebook and then take it back to China. And look, I think this is the overall problem that you're getting at. Congress carved out a special loophole back in the mid-90s so that the internet could be developed, so that you didn't have a bunch of lawsuits coming against people who at that point nobody understood what was going to be developed, how we would all be connected via social media. At that time, people thought, oh, it'll just be one email going to another person's email.
Right.
Nobody foresaw all of this that would happen. And that's going to be the overall concern. It's the selling of the data, and it's the censorship, Eric, especially of conservatives, when you have people that are controlling what can enter into that public square. And I feel that it's really up to the courts. The courts have got to step in. The judicial branch of government has to understand this is never what the Congress intended to do.
Right.
And the challenge we have now is the Democrats. They'll act like they have a big stick, but the truth is they just have a twig. They always are threatening these big tech companies just to ensure they continue to go after Republicans and censor conservatives.
Congressman, we're having a little fun here today. We would like to ask you, and very quickly, we don't have a lot of time, just very quickly, Joe Biden is talking about picking his VP candidate. Give us very quickly a couple of names who you think he should pick and who you think he will pick.
Well, look, if you believe the news, which is very difficult to believe that, it's down to Kamala Harris, who is a senator from my state, a first-term senator. I don't know what experience she has to be vice president of the United States. She's been very ineffective senator. So, that'd be a great choice in terms of, from my perspective, as somebody who doesn't think that Biden's up to the task at this point because of, just his age. And then the other one is Susan Rice. I mean, oh my God, Susan Rice has lied numerous times, whether it be about Benghazi, whether it be about the Russiagate hoax. I mean, I think that would be a godsend if he picks either one of those. I mean, probably Susan Rice being the worst of the two.
We'll leave it right there, Congressman. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you, Eric.